Should Embiid have played this game?
I think so. Because he didn't re-injure himself. I don't think that was a huge risk. And I do think his first game back, he was going to be rusty. I think no matter what. So getting that out of the way in a game that they were a significant underdog in Vegas. They were, to me, an even bigger underdog when you look at, as I talked about yesterday on the show, and then you saw all over the game broadcast, and now people seem to be catching up to, if the home team loses game 1, they don't lose game 2. It's now 15 straight series, including 5 in this postseason, where a home team has lost game 1 and bounced back by winning game 2. Home teams almost never go down 0-2, which, by the way, kind of speaks to what maybe people will expect in tonight's Lakers-Warriors game. But we'll get to that later. The other reason, Brew, that I thought it was good Embiid played, or I think it was the right decision for him to play, is he didn't look like he was laboring. Right. He didn't. I understand he didn't play well, and none of the Sixers played well. But 5 first-half blocks, and 4 of them were athletic plays that he went and made me feel like, okay, he's got to get used to the knee brace. He's now has a game under his belt on that. He's got to knock off some rust. He's now has done that to a degree. And you get back in the flow of things while moving. So I think that I do not believe, well, if Embiid hadn't played, Harden would have gone for 40 again, they'd be up 2-0. I just don't think that. So I think getting this game out of the way, rather than they lose this game without him, and then a game they really need in game 3 is the game he comes back and he's rusty in that. Right. So in that regard, I think it was smart that they played him.
I agree. Look, Boston, and I think I said this yesterday, they were going to win essentially no matter what. I mean, anything's possible, but you knew they're probably winning that game and winning it fairly handily, whether Embiid was there or not. So I agree, Nick. You wanted to get the rust off of him. You wanted to get the other players acclimated to playing because he's been out now a few weeks. Mm-hmm. So they've been playing without him. So now they're used to playing with him again. 2 games without him, I guess. And so I thought it was a good move to bring him back. But so I don't blame this at all on Embiid. Okay, some people are, they should keep playing through Harden the way they are. No, Embiid was not the problem last night. Well, this is what is a problem, though, Nick. The Celtics have the Sixers and Embiid's number. Joel Embiid now, Dusty, Joel Embiid is now 1-9 in the playoffs against the Celtics. And, Nick, a lot of these players are the same.
Yeah, but
a lot of them. And you know that 1-9 record? It includes 6 straight losses, including last night. Look at the field goal percentage. That's low for Joel Embiid. He's a career 50% guy field goal.
Can I ask you something about that? Because we're talking about one game this year. Well,
they were 3-1 against Philadelphia this year.
No, but that's the playoffs, right?
Right.
We're seeing right there's the playoffs. Right. So we're talking about. I'm saying with that graphic, what it encapsulates is 2018, where J.J. Redick was on the Sixers. 2020.
But was Joel Embiid on the Sixers?
No, I understand, but
was Jaylen Brown on the Celtics? No, was Jayson Tatum on the Celtics?
Brown,
was Brad Stevens in the organization? Because that's not. I mean, he still has a say.
Okay, he's not doing the game coaching.
Yeah, but he's
and Doc Rivers wasn't the coach in 2018. But I just think going back, we're now going back to 2018. Kevin Durant's a Warrior. LeBron is a Cav. Anthony Edwards is a high school.
You just brought up the 15-0.
But
that includes teams that aren't even Boston and Philly.
No, but that's at this postseason.
You can't shoot that down when it includes these players. That's a lot more appropriate than just the 15-0.
What I'm saying is I don't think that stat's meaningless, Wildes, but I don't think things that happened in 2018 under Brett Brown
it wasn't
and
just
Ben
2018.
Simmons. It was 2018, 2020, and yesterday.
2020.
Yeah, 2020
wasn't that long ago. And again,
seasons.
It includes Joel Embiid at his best or close to his best. And the reason that they have problems with him is what you saw last night. Boston is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. And for some reason in game 1, they didn't shoot a lot of threes, probably because Philly without Embiid can guard on the perimeter a little better and took that away. And Boston just sleptwalked through the game.
Yeah.
Right. And so last night what they did was he blocked a ton of shots, but they also challenged him to close out the three-pointers. Their starting lineup in virtually their whole rotation has one guy that can't shoot threes, Robert Williams III. But when Horford starts, which he does, Embiid's got to come out and guard him at the three-point line. That takes him away from the rim, and he has trouble, even when healthy, guarding the closeout or closing out on threes. That is one reason Boston gives Philadelphia so much trouble with Joel Embiid on the floor. So last night wasn't Embiid's fault, but they have problems with the Celtics, which is why I said after game one, I have no fear of Philadelphia winning this series. None.
Certainly if it was 9-1, I would feel confident the other way.
Yeah, and I think the commentary from across the table would have been a little different too.
Hold on. Wait, the point, I think it is relevant to point out when it's that there are certain teams that the Heat Celtics, I am interested if they were to play in the conference finals in their recent playoff history. If we are now calling back to 2018, I don't think
2020.
But 2020
did
sounds
Miami
recently. That was 4 playoffs
Did
ago.
what happened in 2020 maybe give us a little window into what could happen in 2023 a few weeks ago with Miami and Milwaukee? I'd say yeah.
Fair enough.
You can't say it's all irrelevant.
No, I wasn't saying it was irrelevant. What I'm saying is I think that that graphic would make it appear that the Sixers and Joel Embiid are drawing dead against the Celtics. And maybe you believe that. I don't believe that. And I think that the fact that they got swept 6 years ago is not highly relevant to where we are right now.
More than that.
6 years ago and 4 years ago is what it includes. That's what the playoff resume is.
But it's the players are the same, or many of them are the same. Many of the key factors.
What's up? Whoa, you're going to grab the gavel?
You going to give him an olive branch?
No, he's going to grab the gavel and he's going to award you the point.
Thank you.
Because Wildes
it's so
got
obvious.
angry at me 5 hours ago.
Give me the point. I'm waiting.
Broussard's right. It's a relevant stat.
See?
2 days out from scoring 45 and playing like Houston Harden, well, he kind of played like Houston Harden, but the bad version. He had 12 points. He went 2 for 14. Brew, are you surprised that Harden took a step back, production-wise, not a move?
Do I look surprised?
Well, you're not on camera, so
yet.
nobody knows.
Put me on camera so you can see that. Do I look surprised? I mean, it's hard for me.
Oh, yeah, because you voted for Harden back even
like
before that
James,
2018
I
season.
like James Harden, and you might see him get a little.
Ago.
I might give him a little extra motivation because I don't like seeing James Harden play like this. But I saw it coming. And don't put this on Embiid.
I mean, put something on Embiid. He played horrible. They lost. Not an Embiid. Harden's out of rhythm. Not an Embiid. He had 3 rebounds. Not an Embiid.
He played with Joel Embiid all season.
Something's got to be a little bit on him. I'm sorry, Dustin.
And 11 assists, essentially led the league in assists. Now all of a sudden he can't play with Embiid. I saw Charles Barkley say after the game, there's a mental block there when Joel Embiid's on the floor with Harden. If there's a mental block, the mental block is high-pressure playoff games. And this one wasn't a ton of pressure, but, Nick, after dropping 45, and you get the MVP back, I get it. Most of us thought they're going to lose, Philly. But still, it was like, well, Harden, you played so well in game one, then you said, I could do this. I mean, y'all don't know who I am? I'm paraphrasing, but I can do this.
I choose not to.
I choose not to. I don't get the shots. I don't get to do what I want to do, usually, because the big guys here. That's essentially what he said. You can't go out and go 2 for 14 after saying all that.
So here's the defense that I will give. Because the fact of the matter is Harden's playoff resume is what it is. It is tattered with games like this. There is no denying it, and there is no defending it other than seeing if he can pull himself out of it with games like Game 1. What I will say is take every team in the playoffs or that made the playoffs. All of their second-best guys have had games like this postseason. All of them. Clay had one in a Game 7. Sabonis had multiple in that series. Jamal Murray had one the other night. They were able to win despite it. Jalen Brunson, who might be the best player on the Knicks, had one in Game 1. Donovan Mitchell, who is the best player on the Cavs, had a game like this in Game 4 of that series. Jaylen Brown, we've seen have a terrible game this postseason.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not talking about Game 1 of this series. This is not. It is only the very, very best players in the league that almost never or once an entire postseason have a game like this. LeBron, who right now is the second best guy on the Lakers, had a game like this, Game 5 against the Grizzlies, right, where he said, I was terrible, I've got to be better. The problem for Harden is, and this is where it is, because there are folks close to the Sixers who were none too pleased with something Bruce said a couple days ago, when he's like, let's see him do it when the lights are bright. And it was like, well, this is the playoffs, and he was without the league MVP, and they were down, and he hit a step-back three to take the lead. Those are pretty bright lights. Maybe not, spotlight Broadway, but pretty bright. But when you have the track record Harden has, until he does it in the finals, until he wins a championship, all of the great performances will be said, it's a really good game, and the bad performances will confirm our previous notions. But that's fair because it is a decade-long track record in the postseason. It just is what it is. The shot he hit in Game 1 is the biggest shot. Well, no, but I'm going the other way, actually. It's the biggest shot he's made in the playoffs since he was on the Thunder. Since the conference finals against the Spurs hit that game winner in Game 5 or I think it was Game 5 of the 2012 conference finals. Like, he doesn't have a lot of great playoff moments, but he has a handful of 2 for 11s, now a 2 for 14. Just is what it is. Like, even if a lot of second-best guys have these games, Harden's going to get extra scrutiny. He just is. You want to blame Embiid.
I don't want to blame Embiid.
Do it.
Go ahead.
I thought Barkley said something interesting in the post-game where it felt like the Sixers didn't have necessarily the correct game plan. It was like, all right, Harden, let's see what you can do. And Embiid, you knock the rust off. And what Barkley was advocating for was Embiid should have deferred to Harden, like, hey, do it again. In the fourth quarter, I'm the superstar. I'll come around. Right. Then you get 3 quarters to knock the rust off and then become the superstar.
Well, he only took 9 shots.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't like he was out there gunning.
I love Barkley, but I don't think that's accurate analysis of what we saw. I mean, they weren't running things through Embiid.
Right. And Doc said Embiid was deferring, which he doesn't want.
So then Embiid's deferring and Harden's off.
You get beat by 40. That's what happened. And the Celtics have 2 bench guys combined for 10 threes. You're going to get rolled,
Meanwhile,
which is exactly what happened.
Let's figure out what's going on with the Celtics. It was burned media. You got toasted.
Whoa.
You better have some cogent analysis about the adjustments, leaving PJ Tucker open or something.
What's the question, Wiles? Is your faith in the Celtics restored, bro?
This is for me?
Yeah. Okay.
You're such a bad actor.
No, this whole thing on like
you're such a dope.
Then I got to be an actor. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Restored?
Okay.
Have I shown an inkling, a hint, a smidgen of doubt? I'm just saying.
No,
I could have nixed it in the meeting, but I said, you know what? They really going to ask me that?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I've been 10 down on Boston this whole time. You know it, Nick.
Ever since
I just
you flip-flopped them. Ever since you left the Nets for them, you've been 10 toes down.
After that horrible loss.
Yes.
In Game 1, did I come on here and give any inkling of
No.
You've been 10
So
down.
I'm not restored. It ain't about me being restored.
Here's the thing about the Celtics. Celtics are obviously a really good team who, when they are locked in and at their best, have everything a champion needs. They can be an excellent defense. They were top 5 defense in the league this year. They have a superstar. Not best player in the league level guy, but a guy who's on MVP, 4th in MVP. Talking about Jayson Tatum. They have an overqualified second best player, or adequately, not overqualified for a title, adequately qualified.
He at least gets a consideration for club superstar. Not there, but gets a consideration.
Sure.
He don't even get like.
Well,
do we discuss it?
He's
okay. That's all I'm saying.
It was pretty quick. Try again next year for him, but that's fine.
It's not a ton of guys.
And they've got switchable defenders. They can shoot all of these things. That's when they're at their best. The question with the Celtics is right now twofold for me. One is, how much do they miss Udoka's intensity in bringing it every night? Because they, much like you guys have talked about AD and the offensively in the playoffs, kind of like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. That's how the Celtics have been this postseason.
I agree.
When they are locked in, they do look like the best team in the conference.
You're giving that all to Ime Udoka and not Mazzulla? You think Mazzulla's not intense? He said he was pissed off.
He was intense last night.
Intense.
I like that. I love that.
That's fine. I'm simply saying that's not who they were last year and this year, and it's mostly the same roster. The other thing is what you were implying, which is what is right now going on with the Brown-Tatum combo? Because when they both scored 25, they're not unbeatable, but they're 28-8. When both those guys go 25 plus, they win 80% of their games. Mm-hmm. The Jalen, not shooting in the second half really of last game. Tatum this game being 1 for 7. That's a weird spot. Now they blew him out.
A lot of that was foul trouble for Tatum.
Yeah, maybe he would have heated up later in the game. He only played 19 minutes. But
what do you account to what I'm talking?
I'll say this because obviously we've heard reports and rumblings that he's even given us quotes himself that would suggest he might not be in Boston next year. But I was always saying, but you know what? He's a professional. He comes to play and delivers every night. Game 1 was the first time I was like, But last night, he looked great, right?
Yes.
So that made me think, if there's anything there, it's not going to hinder him. So I have faith restored. You went all in on Philly yesterday.
I didn't go all in. I gave Nick a handshake.
Nick, did he go all in?
I didn't go all in.
Halfway in.
Yeah, halfway in.
Halfway in.
I'm still kind of in mourning.
Today you are, of course.
I'm in mourning for the Bucks.
He's talking about the Bucks.
The Bucks. I'm still kind of going through it.
He doesn't listen, Brew. Not everyone all of a sudden drops a team and picks up a new hot team that fast.
The next segment.
Some people, they need a time, a period of reflection.
Weren't y'all dapping each other up yesterday?
That was a nice moment between Wildes and
it was good chemistry.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.